in mid-March. What could be a potential second-round playoff series. It stands today, the Celtics would be the 2 seed, the Raptors the 4 seed. Hayward for Tice. Little floater's good.
And you got to love it. You can run an offense right now. You look at the 4 perimeter players of the Boston Celtics. There's no limitations for any of them on the offensive end, and that's very, very impressive and tough to deal with.
As has been proven the last few years, you can play small ball and still be as effective of a team as there is in the NBA as Van Vliet sets up Ibaka.
And that's the thing defensively. That's the area that you worry about them underneath. Not that their defense is solid. It's their ability to rebound and protect the rim in areas like that.
That's what Jay Williams was talking about in the studio.
Don't reference anything that Jay Williams says.
I'm trying to mend fences here, man.
No one cares about anything that Jay Williams says.
I'm a peacemaker. Brown ahead to Tatum. A lob for Tice, and he couldn't hold on up top. Contact after the play and a foul.
You see Van Vliet on the pick and roll, going at Tice, taking his time, probing, and then throwing it up over top of Kemba Walker. Once you feel that big come out, all you have to do is just put up a soft lob. Good finish by Serge Ibaka.
Van Vliet's done that a couple times for buckets, and that time for an assist. Tice just picked up his 3rd foul. Same 10 to begin the game, on the floor to start the second half. And Van Vliet threw it away. Ibaka was cutting. Van Vliet threw it behind him. You heard Jaylen Brown talking about it in that great Wired sound. I've never won here before. The Celtics haven't won here since 2015. They've lost 8 straight games here in Toronto, and they've lost 12 of their last 13.
Toronto against the Atlantic Division has won 30+.
34 consecutive games as Hayward hits along, too.
Against the Atlantic Division. It's the longest in NBA history. So there's a lot of guys that have never won. If you're in that Atlantic Division, there's guys that are in their 3rd and 4th year and have never won in Toronto.
They did call it a 3. It looked like Hayward may have been on the line, but a 3 gives Boston its largest lead at 12. 34 in a row against the division. That's insane. Lowry flipped it up, left it short. Brown up ahead to Tice and could not save it. Runs about 7 rows deep. Longest active road losing streak against any opponent for the Celtics. We mentioned they've lost 12 of their last 13 in Toronto. The only win was an overtime win back in 2015. They needed a Marcus Smart buzzer beater to win that game.
And that's the thing. We're not just talking about this Toronto Raptors team like last year's championship was a fluke. This has been a very good team for about 4 to 5 straight years. A very, very top team in the Eastern Conference.
Van Vliet buries a 3 after a cold start. Had a big second quarter, and now he's got 13 since the start of that frame. Walker around the Tice screen, answers with a 3.
You don't want to do that. You have to be up on any pick and roll with Kemba Walker.
Van Vliet, and then Walker tried to meet OG Anunoby at the summit and committed the foul. His first.
You see this good pick and roll, and again, both teams have their bigs back. You see Tice is back on that pick and roll. So these guards know that once you break that plane of the pick and roll, it's going to be easy to stop and pop. You don't have to worry about the big coming up and getting in contest.
Special Sunday night NBA matchup coming up, by the way, here on ESPN and the ESPN app. Dallas Mavericks headed to the Staples Center to take on LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and the Lakers at 9:30 Eastern time. NBA Countdown starts it up at 9 o'clock out of that game, especially for this weekend. Great matchup. As I mentioned, the Mavericks still without Luka Doncic, but he did return to practice the other day. And, of course, the Lakers come in with the best record in the West at 24-6. Of course, LeBron James did not play on Sunday against the Nuggets. Anthony Davis got hurt in that game, but they both practiced yesterday. And they'll be expected to play today when they square up with the Clippers. Absolutely not. Of course not. Of course not. Ibaka on the defensive 3 seconds sends Walker to the line for a shot.
This is the game. The Christmas Day, opening day, and then you have All-Star game and playoffs and ultimately the NBA Finals. This is a game that every player looks forward to. Yes, the travel might be tough to be away from your family, but to know that this game is going to be one of the most watched of the year, you don't want to miss this.
Tonight on ABC and ESPN at 8 Eastern, and an offensive foul called against Jason Tatum, his second foul of the game. Clippers won the opener between the two LA clubs back on opening night by 10 points. They did it without Paul George. Round two tonight. Mike Breen, Jeff Van Gundy, Mark Jackson, Lisa Salters will have the call.
Uh-oh, they got the A-team on that one, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's what's coming up. Battle for Los Angeles tonight. They're managing it well, balancing the Paul George injury early. Kawhi managing. LeBron says, nope, I'm not worried about management. I'm worried about playing. He and Anthony Davis expected to go tonight.
And look, he was a load manager for a lot of years. He went to 8 straight finals, USA basketball. These are things that you expect. But I think now at this point in time in his career, it's about every game that he can play when he's healthy. Great pass, great finish by Serge Ibaka. But if you have to break down both those teams, I like the Lakers, but I think that the Clippers have the most well-balanced team in the entire NBA. Great bench, great starters, superstars, balanced play. I love that.
We asked Nick Nurse about the depth, and he said the first team that stuck out was the LA Clippers. Heck, Lou Williams can jump into a starter's role. He can jump back out from the bench and be one of the most dominant bench scorers in the league.
And you got Montrez, you got Zubac, you got a lot of guys that can do a lot of different things coming off that bench and starting for that team.
Jaylen Brown's three-pointer has given Boston its largest lead at 13, approaching 7 minutes to play here in the third. Van Vliet on the drive. Nice finger roll home. 15 for Fred Van Vliet. Walker around that Tice pick. Another long-distance shot for Kemba Walker. Impressive stuff from Kemba Walker. He's got 20 points on 5 three-pointers in this game. And the largest lead now 14 for the Celtics. McCaw, just enough space to get it off. Ibaka's tip wouldn't go. And out of bounds to the Celtics. That'll take us to a timeout here in Toronto.